Hi, it's Lili Amanda. In this podcast, I want to talk about my new series. It's called Blossoming. I call it Blossoming because I use a lot of flowers. Basically, they're all flowers, just all over my self-portraits. This was interesting because I got this inspiration actually from my friend Sabrina. When she saw my work that was created about 2018, that time I created a work that is very chiaroscuro, very contrast, black and white. The background's all black. And in that way, I can really show the lines and the curves on the body, and which I love that sort of contrast and make it so dramatic. In those days, I use only natural light, and I absolutely love it. I still love natural light the best. And that natural light gave me the mysterious look that I just so captivated. And then with this series Blossoming, it's the same concept, but just an opposite way. I make it very bright. The background's all white. Sabrina, she sent me an illustrated image, which just shows a side line of a body. She was talking about the mysterious vibe this image that gave her. That she really loves the idea. That is so intriguing because when you see in the distance, it's just some shape. And when you see close up, you find something different. And she finds it like her curiosity to go into that image and dig deeper. And I do find that everyone loves different things. It really depends on what you're going through in life. And that is something so interesting. When she showed me this image with dark background and very contrast, very bright line of a woman's shape, I thought, yeah, that's something I have done before. But the illustration was even more mysterious. That meaning you can't distinguish the woman's face. It's just something very abstract. And in my work, I show more because in photography, it's something realistic. I try to combine the mysterious part of a painting of illustration and into photography that is realism. And in this way, I found a common ground, and that's produced the work Awakening. You can see it, that image is on my website. It's liliamanda.com. When she just showed me the image that it doesn't show the woman's face at all. And then she says she loves that. And I know this is such a great piece of art to hang on the wall because when it's like you don't know who is that woman, it actually can be anyone and can be any woman. And that is more relatable. I understand this concept. The next day I got very excited and I think in 2 days, I created a series of portraits, my self-portraits, in a very contrasting light. Because when I saw the illustration, it was just like, I know this type of lighting inside out, and I haven't done it for such a long time, years and years. So I decided like, okay, I'm going to do a series about this, and let's see what it will come out. And I use a dark background, and I use a very contrast lighting to create a series of self-portraits. It's like a lot. I really just experiment a lot of different poses and different setting. And that really helps me to create different shape and different lines with my body. And it can be very challenging as well because most of the poses are not so comfortable, but they just look good in camera because of the composition. And I have done it for so many times, even with my clients, that I was just explaining to them that lots of poses, they are not comfortable because they just look good in camera because of the composite of the lines of body. And basically our lines are straight because of the gravity, and it's all straight lines. So what I did was actually creating shapes that looks interesting by moving my limbs and my core to create some interesting shape, and how I tilt my head. These are all in the consideration, so I experiment a lot, and I did 2 shoots and came out with really, really good results, and I absolutely love because all this year, I think after I created that type of work, after all this year, I have also learned much more about posing, about composition. So when I see the work I create right now, I really feel like I have grown and I have improved, and which is really good news to me. Like, I didn't waste the past year. That's why I feel like keep creating work is important, because at that moment I wouldn't know like how I did the work and what was that and what was that all about. When I'm looking back my work, I still love them because I know why I created them and how I created them and what sort of mood and what story I had at that moment. So that gives me a lot of story and context go into that image when I see it. And I think human experience is all universal. And when that people see my photograph, they can also feel the intensity of emotion in that image when I was going through. And with this new series of work, Blossoming, it's totally different. When I created that series, when I done the photo shoots and I look at the photo, it just like what Sabrina showed me, but I just created different poses, just lines and mysterious and very contrast light, just dark background and very bright body lines. But somehow I love the pose and mood and everything, but I'm not entirely sure what it is that something made me feel that is not me. I have created those work so many years ago, and now I look at this new work, similar setup with my studio lights, the same concept of contrast, and with such great poses and expressions with my body. And I just thought like, there's something missing. That is something I need to work on. This is not complete yet. And so I start to experiment, to try out different things. I really get out of my comfort zone, because doing old type of work is really comforting because I know where to go. But with new type of work, I start to feel a little bit uncomfortable, really, when I'm going through the experiment. Like, okay, so what if I change it completely to black to white background with black figure? So I just completely change it. And then I look at the form and start to taking shape. I thought, but that is a bit boring to me right now. And let's have a look what I can do to make it more interesting, more beautiful. And I was drying a lot of flowers, and I was buying a lot of flowers to decorate the house, and I absolutely love the flowers. I bought roses and tulip and all sorts of daisies, all sorts of flower. Whenever I pass the shop, I would just go in and buy a bunch. When I don't have them at home, I miss them. The flower all stay about 1 or 2 weeks. And then after that, when they start to looking not so good, I will dry them. Because I learned that after drying, they will stay longer. And probably I can have them for a year or two. And I found also after you dry the flower, the petals would smell really, really good. Drying flowers just intensify their smells. But it also depends on the flowers. I start to collect a lot of dried flowers, and I also use them as a decoration at my home and my studio. And I look at them every day, and also buy artificial flowers. I just love flowers. I just realized that all this year, actually, I love flowers. I did flower crowns before, and I use that for all sorts of photo shoot. So I start to think like how I can collaborate this element that I love into my portraits. And that time I don't know. I just picked up watercolor. First thing I want to learn to paint is flowers. So I start to look up tutorials, courses, and just to learn how to paint flowers. I love watercolor because the flow of the water, that you have to work with it. There's such a freedom in the flow, and I absolutely love it. It can be very abstract and can be very realistic as well. But I've done all the realistic work in my photography. So I absolutely want to go opposite way. Just something for change, for difference, and that really excites me. And I found some really good tutorials on YouTube. They teach these abstract flowers. So I went on, I just watched, like binge watch one after one. And there's so many good tutorials and so many good instructors. I really appreciate all this tutorial. And so I start to paint every day with watercolor. For me, more important is the shape and color. the detail doesn't matter as much. As long as I can create the shape and the color I love, and I can combine it with my self-portraits. That's what I did. So I just paint a bunch of flowers and I just photograph them and put it in Photoshop to combine it with my photographs. And it came out amazing. I experiment so many different type of techniques into the combination of my self-portraits and the watercolor flowers. And then it just it makes me feel alive, and it just looks so pretty and romantic. And I just want to paint more and create more. And eventually, I created quite a lot of images already, and I couldn't really decide which one is better. So I thought, okay, then I don't want to decide this. Maybe I can ask people to help me out to choose what they like, and that would be easier for me because I love them all. So eventually I thought I have to stop at 10. So that would be easier for people to choose. So, but then I created another one and I absolutely love it as well. And then, okay, I have to add this to my collection. And then, so I have 11 and I have to stop because there will be no end. I'll be creating so many work. And what is more exciting is actually the printing. I printed those sample prints and they look so gorgeous. It's so beautiful. Oh my God, they blew me away. And the details are amazing. I absolutely love them. I want them to be on the walls. And then I showed it to my partner. My partner also loved it. He was also amazed about the details. And when I show him in digital, he would zoom in to see the details. And it's like, he doesn't do that a lot. So once he does it, and I feel, okay, he's really interested. He's really engaged with that. And that makes me very happy. And I show them to my friends, and my friend also give me their feedback and what they like. And that really encouraged me. They all give me such great comments. And I'm really, really grateful for all the people who support me. All this, creative journey is not easy. We have a lot of self-doubt. And if you have people like that around you, that will actually tell you, I like this shape, but there's something can be improved or something like that. At the beginning, when I was experiment, I sent some photos to Sabrina and she would tell me what she think, honest opinion. So I know what she was looking for. If that is something I feel, wow, it's a great idea, of course I adapt. But if not, if something just entirely her preference, I would just say, okay, I got it. Fantastic. And I'll move on to do my own thing because eventually I have to create art for myself. And so I can't create art for other people because that's not what is art about. It's about the artist's expression. It has always been. But it's also very good to know what other people likes because they tend to tell you the things you don't see it. Being open-minded is so important. I think when I was started to work on this self-portrait project, I hardly show people and I hardly ask people's opinion because I was so afraid to get negative feedback and I would just pack my cameras, never touch it again. So in those days, it was good. I think it was clever not to ask feedback, just keep working, keep creating, and then improve from one stage to another and go to next level. Small increment move just by keep creating. There's no other way. There's no better way to improve, but just keep creating. So now I'm coming to a space I am certain about what I'm going to create and what is the art for me. What is this about? And what I was looking for. Like when I was very confused, I don't know what is good and what is bad for me. I mean, just my own opinion. I have no idea. And those days, I think it would be easy to led by other people's opinion if I asked. I didn't, so I kept it just myself and grow from there. And it works for me. And I think a lot of people would agree to it as well. Like early work, when you just start to work in a few years, you don't need other people give you any opinion or feedback. Sometimes it's irrelevant. And because creating art, eventually you do it for yourself. I would say keep creating is always the key to me and to improve my work and to fall in love with my work. because now I'm creating the work, that a series of work that I absolutely love, that give me so much joy to just share it with the world, and I love it. I couldn't do it for myself because I wasn't confident with what I created, and the gap between where I was and where I want to be, that was huge. And that was like, no way I was able to take any criticism. Yeah. And so now it's like I really enjoy doing it and I want to share with people. And if they want to criticize or want to say anything, go ahead. I love it. I just love them. I just love this work and nothing can change that. If I create work like this is enough for me. And all I have to do is I feel the need to share with the world. Like, I don't want to keep it to myself. I want to share with people as well. I want you to enjoy something I feel really joyful. This blossoming series is all about romance. The color always tells the story about the spring, the blossoming time. Now we are in spring, so it's a perfect theme for this. I think when we see flowers blossoming, we all have this great feeling, just make us happy. You want to go and take photos, right? And it just gives us such a good vibe when we see flower blossoming. And I hope this series of work will give people that kind of vibe and feelings as well. Joyful and happy and romantic. This is all the feelings I want to infuse in my work and bring out to people. And this series of image, eventually, they will be launched in April in my shop. If you want to hear about the launch news and interested in owning the prints to decorate your house or your personal space, and you can just subscribe to my newsletter. I will announce the launch day and any special offers, I will put it in my newsletter. Just subscribe to my Substack. You will receive the news when it's launched. And because the launch will be only have 4 days, subscriber will have early access to some limited amount of work. So once you subscribe, there will be one exclusive print. Only subscriber have access to it. And also some prints, they only have limited amount. So if you are one of the subscribers, you will have like a couple of hours earlier access to them if you want to grab the print. And yeah, these are the fantastic things I share with you right now. So this is the image story about my new fine art series, Blossoming. Thank you for listening. This is Lili Amanda. I will talk to you next time. Bye.